Ladies and gentlemen, I am very honored to introduce Gautam Raghavan, special guest speaker coming all the way from the White House.
Thank you, Vinny, for that very kind introduction. It's all true. And good evening, everyone. Let's try that again. Good evening, everyone. All right. I just want to say it's an honor to be here tonight. When Vinny first invited me over coffee in D.C., I didn't realize there was going to be quite this many people, but I think that speaks to your leadership and your commitment and your perseverance, and certainly to the energy and commitment of everyone who's in this room. So, and also, who doesn't want to be in San Diego in February, because it's cold in D.C. right now. As Vinny said, my name is Gautam Raghavan, and I work at the White House Office of Public Engagement, where I serve as the President's liaison to the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community. And I have to tell you, I love my job. I am humbled and I am privileged to work for this president in this White House. This is a president who I believe, and I know, values the diversity of America, who believes deeply that everyone should have a fair shot at the American dream, and who is fighting for an economy that works for all of us, not just a few. And you know, we're fortunate to have a president who was committed to equality, to dignity, and justice for the LGBT community. Time and time again, we've seen the president honor that commitment. For instance, we saw it when he signed the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. Hate Crimes Prevention Act into law, the first piece of federal legislation in history to include civil rights protections for sexual orientation and gender identity. Because no one in America should be forced to look over their shoulder because of who they are. And because of a directive from President Obama, we've implemented regulations to ensure that same-sex couples cannot be denied visitation rights at any hospital that receives Medicare or Medicaid funding, and that's most hospitals in the country, because no one should be kept from the bedside of the person that they love in sickness or in health. And thanks to the president's leadership, as Vinny mentioned, the support of Congress and the courage of men and women willing to tell their stories, we repealed the law known as Don't Ask, Don't Tell. So I'm very proud to work for a president for whom LGBT issues, quote unquote, aren't just issues, but priorities. But you know, the best part of my job is that I get to meet regularly with people whom I consider to be heroes. Heroes like our gay and lesbian service members who want nothing more than to serve their country with honor, dignity, and patriotism. Heroes like a man named Frank Kameny, a pioneer of the gay rights movement, who was fired from the federal government for being gay and then dedicated his life to getting those policies changed. And despite the obstacles and the challenges, he didn't give up and he won. And heroes like Lady Gaga, who use their influence to spread messages of tolerance, inclusion, and kindness. And heroes like all of you here in this room tonight, educators, counselors, parents, administrators, coaches, and students who care deeply about ensuring that all of our schools and communities are safe for all of our young people. So you have so much in common with the other heroes that I've met. You too are serving your country in some of the most honorable professions that there are, working each and every day to ensure that our students are prepared and empowered for the challenging days ahead. You too are dedicated to making a difference, even within bureaucracies and systems that are sometimes, I know, very resistant to change. And while I don't see anyone here in 8-inch heels or a dress made out of meat, Vinny, no? As teachers and as counselors, coaches, or sometimes as the only adults in the room, you too are using your influence to foster welcoming learning environments and safe spaces for students. So I just want to say thank you for all that you do, because I know you don't get thanked nearly enough. Like some of you, and I suspect like many of the students that you work with, school wasn't always easy for me. I was the kid with a funny name who was small for his age, a nerd who joined band camp and thespian troupe. I was a character from Glee, basically. And yeah, round of applause for Glee. And you know, wanting to be fabulous and desperately trying to be authentic, but without the benefit of musical numbers or cute boys in blazers who would accept me for who I was. And the whole time I knew I was gay, but despite the band camp and the thespian troupe and having courageous friends who were out and proud, I wasn't yet ready to be out or to come out. And my journey was only made rockier by the fact that everyone else seemed to know that I was gay, and they weren't shy about pointing it out to me. Using the whole arsenal at the disposal of high school kids, you know, the bag of tricks: hints, snide jokes, suggestive references, insults, exclusion. And you know, the worst part of it all, and I think the most insidious and dangerous part of it all, is I thought it was all normal. I heard those phrases frequently, and I'm sure you're familiar with these phrases too. Boys will be boys. It's all a part of growing up. It's the rite of passage. Toughen up. But you know, I'm lucky. My story has a happy ending. I'll never know why. Maybe it was a theater director who encouraged eccentricity and welcomed weirdness, or a school counselor who knew not to ask but just to listen. Or maybe it was the principal and school administrators who supported the creation of a gay-straight alliance at our school, even though it was unpopular and unwelcome in our community. So my story had a happy ending, but we know that there are too many other stories that have ended far too early. And it seems every single year, we regretfully add a few names to the long list of kids we've lost to bullying and suicide. And then there's the countless others whose names we'll never know. So for them, not just for them, but at least for them, we have to fight back against this idea, this very dangerous idea, that bullying and harassment are acceptable or that we can't do anything about it. We have to say together, it's not okay, it's not acceptable, it's not a rite of passage, and it's got to stop. So since President Obama took office, we've taken many steps towards combating bullying and harassment in our schools. For instance, we have convened an interagency group that includes the Departments of Education, Health and Human Services, Justice, Defense, Agriculture, Interior, and others to provide the necessary guidance for individuals and organizations in all sectors to take an active role in fighting bullying. We launched stopbullying.gov to provide a comprehensive repository of materials and federal resources on bullying. We provided training, including a series of webinars and a series of training modules to help create safe climates on school buses. We've issued guidance from the Department of Education, clarifying federal education anti-discrimination laws, and a technical assistance memo to help in the crafting of anti-bullying laws and policies. And the Department of Education has also issued guidance to schools, colleges, and universities in support of gay-straight alliances. And just last month, and I hope you all saw this, Secretary of Education Arne Duncan released a video message on the first ever National Gay-Straight Alliance Day in support of all the courageous students, counselors, and educators who are using organizations like GSAs to improve the climates in their schools. And as I hope many of you know, the President and the First Lady convened the White House Conference on Bullying Prevention. And Vinny, you were there. And the Department of Education has held 2 bullying prevention summits to bring together nonprofit leaders, researchers, parents, youth, educators to discuss and to share progress on anti-bullying efforts across the country. And many of the participants who went to those summits, including the Ad Council, Facebook, MIT, Sesame Street, 17 Magazine, and MTV, who we are also honoring tonight, many of those participants have also taken additional steps to raise awareness through targeted programming and dedicated anti-bullying campaigns. And as you know, President Obama, Vice President Biden, Secretary Clinton, and many other administration officials, including a bunch of my colleagues from the White House, have filmed It Gets Better videos. And I understand you're filming one this weekend as well, to let young people across the country know that their lives matter. But as you know, bullying isn't the only issue that impacts the health and the well-being of our young LGBT people, nor does it take place in a vacuum. That's why we're also looking at making progress on issues like access to health care, substance abuse, mental health, homelessness, and violence. We know that we need to think holistically and draw the connections between housing and health, between bullying in schools and harassment on college campuses. And the work we're doing is just the beginning. Our training, our education, and our outreach efforts are critical. And that's why we launched a series of White House LGBT conferences that will be held across the country, including hopefully here in San Diego, to connect and empower individuals and organizations with information and resources from the Obama administration. Just yesterday, I was in Philadelphia, where we packed an auditorium with a day-long conference on LGBT health, a conference that, by the way, included breakout sessions specifically on health of LGBT youth. And soon we'll be in Detroit to talk about housing and homelessness, 2 issues that directly impact our young people. And I'm very excited to tell you tonight that the conference after that will be dedicated to safe schools and communities. And I hope I'll see you all there, and you can stay tuned for details at whitehouse.gov/LGBT. Again, that's whitehouse.gov/LGBT. That was me working in the plug somewhere into my speech. So we have taken incredibly important steps, and we have much, much more to do. But you know that the type of change that we hope for won't be easy. I know that many of you face obstacles and challenges in your classrooms, in your districts, in your states, but we're already seeing the change around us. For instance, change is professional athletes telling kids that it's not cool to say, "That's so gay." And it's celebrities using their influence, celebrities like Don Lemon, to profile, to raise the profile of these issues and be the role models that so many kids desperately need. Change is a school district changing its policies to ensure that all its students are treated with dignity and respect. Change is San Diego's Patrick Henry High electing a lesbian prom king. Change is countless kids around the country who hear the President of the United States tell to them, "It gets better," and they believe him. And change is hundreds of counselors, educators, administrators, coaches, and concerned members of the public coming together tonight to make it better. So, working together, I know we'll make it better. And tonight, I want you to know that the President of the United States of America, the White House, and the entire Obama administration are with you every step of the way. So in closing, I'd like to share a message from someone who can't be here tonight, and it reads the following. I send greetings to all those attending Supporting Students Saving Lives. The future of our nation will be shaped by the young people we lift up and empower today. Events like Supporting Students Saving Lives remind us that as parents, teachers, and community members, we all share a responsibility to make sure our next generation can thrive in safe and inclusive environments. Our classrooms should be filled with chances to dream, discover, and grow, free from fear. And my administration is committed to ensuring our schools are places where every young person, including LGBT youth, can achieve anything they can imagine. I thank you for your leadership and wish you all the best for an enjoyable and inspiring conference. And it's signed Barack Obama, President of the United States. So thank you for everything that you do. Like I said, you're the heroes in the room. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you ever need any help from us, just let us know. Thank you.